Welcome to Chopra Health. My name is Jazz Singh, and in our introduction to Ayurveda, today we will focus on the layers of life. These layers of life are also the layers of our experiences. So as we begin today's session, let's take a moment to start with a celebration and gratitude, taking few deep breaths. Let's center ourselves, starting with gratitude and celebrating taking this one another step in our journey. Reminding ourselves that I am infinite, I am divine, I am the universe, Aham Brahasami. So as we touched last time, that Ayurveda is a consciousness-based approach. In Ayurveda, health is simply not an absence of disease. Rather, it's a state of expanded consciousness or awareness which opens us up to a greater well-being, a wholeness, a wellness. And true health is more than simply absence of disease, or it's an integration of many dimensions, the physical, the mental, as well as spiritual. Ayurveda reminds us that it is the one consciousness that expresses itself in many different modified forms. And in order for us to go back and connect with this consciousness, it has the concept of layers of life that we often know as the body, the mind, the spirit, or as the physical, mental, and the spiritual. These layers are not separate, and they are again consciousness in different disguises. And balancing and healing can occur if we can freely access these dimensions. So one of the greatest philosophers of Ayurveda was Adi Shankara, who lived in the 8th century. And he elegantly elaborated that various layers mask our essential self, and he called these layers koshas. Kosha meaning the coverings. And he categorized these koshas into 3 layers. First of them being the physical body, which is called the Satula Sharira. Satula meaning the gross or the solid. And often, even though our senses may tell us otherwise, we are part of the environment. Every breath that we take, we are bringing in air. Every time we exhale carbon dioxide, it is then converted back into oxygen by plant and trees. And in this way, as an example, we are connected both with our environment in terms of the air and the plants and trees. Further, next, as we looked at the body, Shankara described it as the Annamaya Kosha, or the covering that is made of food. And in this way, it's a reminder to us that we are part of that extended body, and taking in, every time we take in the food, this food is what gives us the energy, or the Pranamaya Kosha. So our lives are full of breaths, and the food that we eat gives us this energy, reminding us again of taking and eating better food. And then Ayurveda provides us many practices to increase energy in our lives. As an example, with many breathing exercises that we will look in future sessions. The next layer is the subtle body called the Sukshma Sharira. Sukshma means soft, and this layer has the realms of the mind, the intellect, and the ego. The mind called the Manomaya Kosha. This is the repository from which rises the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, and our desires. And when we are in balance, we often can experience love, joy, peace, equanimity. And when we are out of balance in our mind, we often act out of fear, anger, hostility, resentment, guilt, shame, or fall in depression. So the next sub-layer is the intellect called the Buddhi Maya Kosha. This is the realm of the discernment or discrimination or rationality. So this intellect has a great function. It helps us make many great choices in our evolution and to live. However, Vedanta and Ayurveda also talks about a part called Pragya Parag, which means the mistake of the intellect. So if the intellect can be deluded into thinking that it is separate from everything else, and this separation from the universe and everything around us causes an imbalance, and the problems that we often see in the society, such as racial, ethnic, nationalistic, or religious, can often cause many problems. So separation is a mistake and unity is the true reality. This intellect can also be utilized to help us connect with our true selves. So as an example, if we use exercises like reflection and ask ourselves deeper questions like, who am I? What am I doing here? What is my purpose? What are my values? How can I contribute? How can I be happy? And in this way, the intellect can take us back to what Ayurveda reminds us, that you are part of the wholeness, which is the entire universe. And the third layer is the ego, or called the ahankara. And to understand this, if we think of actions that we take, termed also as the karma, creates seeds of memory called the samskara, from which arises desires or the vasanas. So from the karma, samskara, and the vasana rises the ego. And from this ego, in the third layer is the karana sharira, or the causal body, rises our jiva, which is our personal soul. And next is the atman, which is at a deeper level. You can think of it as archetypes or collective souls or attributes and qualities that we already have. And in the modern world, as an example, when we connect with the movies and characters, these are the qualities that we desire in us. In many other traditions, as an example, in Buddhist traditions, there were the peaceful and wrathful deities. Or in Christianity, the angels and the fallen angels. In Ayurveda and Vedanta, the realms of the devas and the asuras, again, all reminders of the positive and the negative qualities that exist, and it is up to us to be able to connect with these qualities and bring them in our lives. And lastly, there is the universal, which is the pure potentiality, all that is, was, and will be. This realm is from which the universe arises. It's the Brahman. And Ayurveda's reminder to us again is that it is the one consciousness that expresses itself in different modified forms. And that we can return back and be able to connect and experience Aham Brahasmi. I am infinite. I am divine. I am the universe. So that concludes our today's session, and we will see you in one of the next sessions on 5 elements, the doshas, which are your essential mind-body makeups, and show you how you can learn from Ayurveda's approach to personalize, preventative, and practical techniques using the 6 pillars of health: the nutrition, the movement, sleep, meditation, emotions, and self-care. See you in the next session. Bye-bye.